Do you have any tips on how to read a grammar book and retain information? Howdy, welcome back to How to Write Better. My name is Joshua Fields Milburn. I'm a New York Times best-selling author. I'm also a writing instructor at howtowritebetter.org. This is another installment in our series, which is called Ask a Best-Selling Writer. We're answering your questions, so please drop your questions in the comments. I'll get to them in a future video. Today's question comes from Lee. Lee says, I opened up Anne Stillman's book, Grammatically Correct, and after a few pages, I felt like my eyes were glazing over. It's not because of her writing style, but I find that with so much information, it feels a little overwhelming to process. Yeah. Anne says, do you have any tips on how to read a grammar book and retain information? Well, Anne Stillman's book, Grammatically Correct, is one of the books that I teach in my writing course, which is called How to Write Better. A few other books as well. I've read over 100 books on language and grammar, and I found the 4 or 5 that really stood out to me. I wish I could have just read those 4 or 5 books. And Anne Stillman's Grammatically Correct, which I'll put a link to in the description below, is one of the best books for better understanding grammar, the parts of speech, the parts of a sentence, and how to use these things. And so, what did I do? I'm not going to tell you what to do, but here's what helped me. I read the whole book. Now, I didn't expect to retain everything in the book, but I was sort of greasing the wheels for future learning. Because yes, there's a lot of information in there and it can be overwhelming. And I didn't expect to retain everything from the book, but I wanted to give it a once over. And then every single time I had a question about sentence structure, about grammar, about punctuation, I would go back to the book, to that specific section, because I had already read it once. And the more I did that, the more I retained the information. And so you don't have to read the whole book in one sitting. I know that can be a bit daunting, but sitting down with just one section a day and just going through the book in chunks and then referencing the book, because any great book about writing is essentially a reference book for you to return to anytime you have a question. Anytime you're unsure about your writing, you go back to the experts and they will help you better understand what is grammatically correct or what's getting in the way. If you'd like some more writing tips, you can download my free ebook. It's called 15 Ways to Write Better. Just click the link in the description. You can download it today and you'll walk away with 15 writing tips that will improve your writing immediately. And by the way, you can read it in less than an hour.